He is a graduate of the Masters of Science in Applied Security Analysis program. Following graduation, he will return to Cincinnati, Ohio to continue his professional football career with the Cincinnati Bengals. Welcome.
Thank you, Joe. I have a handkerchief. I sweat when I speak, so just be warned. Good morning. My name is Njongmeta, and I will be one of your speakers today. I'm honored that you're on here to listen to me speak, and I hope to make it worth your while. Okay, I'm joking. I know you're here to get your name, to hear your name get called and to walk across the stage. But before that, I have a brief reflection on our time here at UW, and I hope by sharing my experience, I can both honor the moment while giving a voice to our shared experience. Well, I was granted the honor to speak to you all today. I had to take some time and think. What did I want to say to these future captains of industry, these titans of tomorrow? See, in order to write this speech, I had to reflect on where I've been, where I am, and where I'm going. Becoming, doing, and being. When I consider where I've been, I consider how I got here. I was born in Cameroon, West Africa, to Linda and Leo Njongmeta, two of the kindest and bravest souls I've ever known. My parents had a thirst for knowledge that led them across the world and back. It led my dad first to Nigeria at the age of 19 for his undergrad and then his master's. It led him to the University of Liverpool in Europe, where he got his PhD. In the darkest days of his life, it was his faith, his hope, and ultimately his belief in the opportunities education would bestow upon him and his family that kept him going. My mom, the oldest of seven, crossed the Gulf of Guinea in the Atlantic Ocean on the literal and figurative darkest day of her life. On a deadly and treacherous journey from Cameroon to Nigeria, she traveled by wooden raft across choppy seas in the dark of night. She told me in that pitch black of night, all she could hear is the waves crashing around her and the sound of her own heartbeat. That heartbeat wasn't just survival, but one of legacy. With nothing to guide her but the hope of a chance for a better education, she resolved to carry on. She was her hope for a better future, and my parents' thirst for knowledge pushed my parents to move to the United States. My mom is a PhD Fulbright scholar. My dad is a research assistant. My mom facing breast cancer, both facing the daunting task of raising 3 kids in a new country. My parents left everything they ever knew in Cameroon to start a new life in America. To me, they're the epitome of the American dream. They remind me every day of the power of education. I stand here today the proud product of immigrants. Immigration is a founding principle of this country, and it's one that I'm forever grateful for because it brought me to where I am today. And so I share my parents' story with you today, but I ask you to think of your own story. Who are the trailblazers in your life? Whose legacy are you the product of? Maybe you were born across the ocean like me, or maybe you were born down the street, but no one person is an island, and someone's dreams carried you here today. When I think of the words that could encompass my time here at UW, they would be becoming, doing, and being. University is all about becoming, the metamorphosis of philosophy, mind state, and character. The caterpillar that crawls into its cocoon only to emerge a butterfly. And so I'm 24 years old, and if we do the math, I've spent roughly 6 years of my life in the cocoon of this campus. Some of my friends might say I spent 3 of those years studying the inner workings of the KK, but that's a different conversation. Altogether, a quarter of my life was spent on these grounds, in these storied halls, walking these paved streets. And I hope that whether you're a double badger like me or a baby badger, that your time here was defined by growth, change, and ultimately metamorphosis. So in the process of pursuing my master's, I took a gap year to go train for and play in the NFL. And people ask me all the time what I do. I avoid that question, mostly because people think I'm lying, but also because they immediately ask me a million questions. Mostly I avoid the question, though, because I believe I am not my job title. We are not our job titles. We live in a culture obsessed with occupation. What you do becomes who you are. And I can't speak for everyone, but I remember growing up being hyper focused on achievement. I believe that I was that which I achieved. Imagine that, living and down by my greatest achievements and failures as an 8-year-old. And I'll be real, it felt really good when I won. Being chosen first on the playground, all state honors in track and field and football, and even the honor roll. These all felt great. And when I didn't achieve, when I failed, I was devastated. See, I had this narrative in my head and it fueled this fire that's helped me accomplish some of the objectively greatest things I've ever done in my short life. In the last year, I accomplished a childhood dream of mine and surmounted a mountain that some people spend their entire lives dreaming of. And I got there and I said, now what? Not because it was a small feat. No, it was easily the hardest thing I've ever done. But because the accomplishment alone wasn't enough. The question I asked myself then, and the one I ask you today, is who are you when you stop doing? When you stop playing, or in this case, when you finish your degree? I could talk to you for hours about my occupation, but I'd much rather talk about my vocation. Because I've come to learn that it's not what you do, but who you become in the process that leaves an impact on those around you. So yes, I play football, but I see it as a platform from which I can live my vocation of servant leadership. As my time in Madison comes to a close, I can't help but think of my first day on campus. I did summer school that year so I could come to campus early and assimilate to the city and to my new football team. The first thing I did was buy a moped scooter and take it on a joyride through the heart of campus. I think about that moment a lot. I've been debating what I'll do in my last few days here. Maybe I'll jump in the lake for good old time's sake, or might stop at the KK just to make sure everything's working, but I'm not sure what I'll do, but I want to leave you all with this. It's a piece of advice my philosophy teacher gave me when I was a senior in high school, and back then I thought it was the corniest thing ever, but it's something I think about every day to this day. He told me when it's all said and done, we're human beings, not human doings. And so I applaud you all for your achievements today and the paths you took to get here. I've heard some of your stories. They're fraught with adversity and self-doubt and perseverance in the face of all odds. Frankly, I'm humbled to share such a special day with all of you. Graduating with a master's from a business school as rigorous as Wisconsin's is no joke. And whether you came here straight from undergrad, from the workforce, or via the NFL, it really doesn't matter. We're bonded by our time here together and forever a part of one big Badger family. And if all you feel today with is a degree, congratulations, but I pray you leave with more. I challenge you to reflect on who you've become during your time here, what you do going forward, but ultimately the type of person you'll be. The person I'll be is shaped by every coach, teacher, mentor, every professor, and every friend that has ever poured into me. I leave you with memories of the sunsets, the terrace, strays down State Street, and long nights in Granger Business School. I've made memories on this campus that I will carry with me for the rest of my life. But most importantly, I leave a better human being. And so when you go in the road and people ask you what you do, you can tell them, go ahead. For me, it's not what you do as much as why you do it, how you do it. Class of 2025, you're ready. You become what you need to become by doing what you need to do, but the question yet to be answered is, who will you be? Congratulations. Thank you for your time. Badges forever, baby.